Jesse Nelson's really ticking me off.
Why's that?
Because of the way he's talking about the Badgers.
So I listened to him and Corey Sparks on the postgame show from Monks and Middleton. And I texted them at some point, probably over an hour into the postgame show. And I said, you guys sound great, doing a good show, but where's this optimism coming from? I just don't get it.
No.
38-14, the final score is Alabama cruises past Wisconsin.
They're lucky it was only 38.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were some big missed opportunities from the Alabama Crimson Tide. I know people are trying to not be the fire the coach, let's move on. And I'm not even really saying that explicitly, but the way the goalposts have moved for what's success and what's positive outcomes
Correct.
is crazy.
That's the thing that bothers me or scares me or concerns me the most is the commentary around the Badgers. Like, when did we become losers?
Yeah.
When did we become so accepting of mediocrity might be a compliment? Like, this team, number one, they didn't compete. Yeah. And I don't know that we anticipated them to go into Tuscaloosa and win that game by any means, but you would have liked to see them be a little bit competitive.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that at all. And the other part of this is when it comes to the Alabama commentary, it goes, well, I heard Jesse Nelson say this several times. Well, Barry Alvarez lost to Alabama. Brett Bielema lost to Alabama. Paul Chryst lost to Alabama. Yes. This Alabama team is not those Alabama teams.
No.
This Alabama team is going to lose 4 games this year. They're not going to make the playoffs. So to go on the road, and I didn't expect them to win, but at least give me something to be excited about. It's now year 3 of Luke Fickell, and I have seen nothing to be excited about. Maybe recruiting, but again, that doesn't always equal wins, and it hasn't for the Badgers. So I'm embarrassed for Badgers fans. Because when did we become so soft? When did we say, oh, wow, they only lost by 24? That's a great effort. No, it's not. No, it's not. And that was my big thing this weekend. Okay. Whew.
Yeah,
I feel better.
The goalposts have moved so far back that people were like, well, that secondary isn't one that is going to compete with SEC teams. There was the takes of just basically how we shouldn't go in expecting to beat an Alabama team. And it's like, Luke Fickell was brought here to do that. He wasn't brought here to be competitive in the Big Ten.
Right.
He was brought here to elevate the program to a point where they're competing in a much larger field for the national championship, the tournament at the end of the season.
And that's a point that I think we're losing sight of.
Yes.
And look, I get Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
I didn't expect an immediate turnaround from whatever they were in the Jim Leonard, Paul Chryst was fired season 6-6, I think. I wasn't anticipating, boom, in year 1, they're going to be college football playoff favorite.
Right.
But 3 years in, I'd expect them to at least be competitive. And at least give me something to be excited about. They will not be bowl eligible again this year. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that.
Have they? Where's the improvement at all? I know the Paul Chryst era towards the end was not great.
Yeah.
But do we think there's anything building here? Is there any case to be made for optimism in any real way?
I don't think so.
This takes a while?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
There was maybe, and Hunter, we'll get to you in a minute.
Because I'm ready to go.
There's probably some things, Hunter, I know you are. I figured there's some things that you saw and said, okay, that's an improvement, right? Like, I have a hard time nailing down exactly what it was.
It was through a good chunk of the first half. They were holding Alabama to like 1.5 yards per carry. And then Alabama was like, wait a second. We have 2 wide receivers that are going to be fringe top 10 NFL picks and a 5-star quarterback. They've got 1 corner that they actually expected to be starting a game. We'll just throw the ball. And then, like, Emilio Ogard, I can't pronounce his name. Like, he was expected to be a guy for them next year, and he's their number 2 corner now. So, like, it was literally just Kalen DeBoer's a good offensive mind and was like, why am I trying to run the ball? I don't need to do that. I'm just going to throw the ball at their weakest part of their team. and then that's what's going to happen. And then you have a backup quarterback who makes backup quarterback decisions, turns the ball over in spots where Billy Edwards, one, I don't think is making those turnovers. Two, is hitting Vinny Anthony when he's wide open down the sideline. You're getting a touchdown there. Like the game is different in that spot. I also need to remind some Badger fans, because I went on this rant before and I've been told I'm crazy for it, but I need to remind people again of some other scores of Badgers history. Okay? 2015, week 2, Wisconsin plays Alabama in Cowboys Stadium. Alabama 35, Wisconsin 17. But fine, we'll excuse that. That's Paul Chryst' first year as the head coach. Fine, whatever. We'll completely ignore the fact that Michael Caputo was hit so hard by Derrick Henry that he lined up in the wrong huddle. But, we'll just excuse that one. Okay, 2022, Ohio State 52, Wisconsin 21. Oh, but that's the downturn of Paul Chryst. So fine, we'll excuse it, even though the Badgers never competed in that game at all and they were run out of the horseshoe. Okay, October of 2018. The game
where they were like tied?
No.
In the first half?
No, that was the game where Chris Orr afterwards for a post-game show with STROUF and I said that Wisconsin was not able to compete with Ohio State. 2018, Wisconsin goes on the road at Michigan. Michigan 38, Wisconsin 13. Can't excuse that one. That was the year after the Orange Bowl. That was the year they were supposed to compete for the playoffs. 2019, Ohio State 38, Wisconsin 7. Those were all teams that were competing at a high level like this current Alabama team is. Wisconsin wasn't competitive in any of those games, but all of a sudden, oh, nope, I understand Luke Fickell said the expectation is championships, and I'm still going to hold him to that expectation. But to sit here and pretend that Wisconsin hasn't always been like this with the Michigans, Ohio States, and Alabamas of the world is completely ignorant, and we are completely forgetting what Wisconsin football has been. Outside of a couple of outlier seasons, this has been Badger football. We're just upset about it now because instead of getting Ohio State once, maybe you play Alabama in a non-conference game. Now you get Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama all in the same season, and now you're going to lose more games because of that. This team is going to beat Minnesota for sure. Minnesota looked like mega ass against Cal. I have no doubt about that. They were terrible. Washington, they'll be able to beat them. Illinois doesn't have the receivers Alabama has. Iowa can't throw the ball further than 5 yards down the field.
Oh, man.
Like, this team is going to compete in these games much better because other than Ohio State, nobody else actually has NFL caliber wide receivers. It's going to be better.
Hold on.
Play this out. What if they don't?
Then fire Luke Fickell. If they are terrible again at the end of this year, go ahead and fire Luke Fickell. I am fine with that. But it is week 3. We expected them to be 2-1 going into this Maryland game. And then this is where they're at. If they lose to Maryland, they get run out of the stadium then against Michigan. Okay, I'm fine with having that conversation. But after they lose to an Alabama team that on the other side of playing it out of saying, well, what if they do actually compete for the playoffs? They're good enough to still do that. They could still be a playoff team. Like, Wisconsin just isn't there yet.
I have to give Hunter credit for one thing.
Optimism,
and he cares, because everyone I'm talking to out who isn't as in tune with it, it's total apathy when it comes to Wisconsin Badgers. A conversation about the Badgers is just kind of dismissed offhand. Nobody really cares anymore. And there's certainly, they still have their passionate fans or season ticket holders, but the fan in general couldn't be more removed from this Wisconsin Badgers program, and that's not how it's been for the majority of my life.
Yeah.
I certainly think Hunter can cherry pick things to make his case, and I think he's right in a lot of the cases he made. But the Badgers now on year 3 of a guy who's supposed to be a drastic improvement and was supposed to go to championships has shown no signs of improvement. Have shown no signs of growth.
And he has never had a starting quarterback for a full season.
Well, then stop letting him get hurt.
How are they magically supposed to do that? What fairy dust is out there?
Recruit better offensive linemen.
Again, their O linemen have been getting hurt. Like that's
then make them deeper. Get the kids in the state.
okay.
Do something.
Okay, what magical?
I don't
No.
want the
Hang on,
excuses.
hang
I
on,
want
Josh.
the
Hang on. We're gonna play something out. Okay, you're a left tackle from McWanago, and you're getting recruited by either Wisconsin.
Nathaniel Roy.
Yeah, exactly. Nathaniel Roy would have been behind other guys on the O-line, so instead he went to a program where he could start right away. That is the situation these kids are in. I've talked to enough of these high school coaches with our Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania, shout out by the way, where they have said these guys want to go and get that NIL money and they want to go and get that right away. You can't recruit the depth you used to be able to by just getting these kids to stay in state. They want to go and play right away. They want to go and get the starter money right away. You can't just keep them. There isn't some fairy dust that is just going to magically have Wisconsin suddenly have the level of depth that everybody expects them to have. These guys want to play, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a drop-off from your starters to your backups unless you are Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon, Alabama, or Georgia. That's the reality of college football now.
Isn't that the conversation Luke Fickell was brought here to put the Badgers in?
Correct.
Yes, I understand he is not there, but to say that they're not going to compete at all this year, I think is ridiculous. This team is better than what they were the last 2 years and that last year of Christ. This team will compete with these other teams in the Big Ten.
Let's do this. All right. So you believe they're going to win 6 games?
Let me pull up the schedule. I believe, I've got them at like 6 or 7.
I think you just listed 4 games you said they're going to win. You said Illinois, you said Minnesota, you said Maryland, and you said, I'm forgetting the 4th.
They're dropping one of those easy wins.
Iowa was the
Illinois
fourth
is a damn top 10 team right now.
Yeah, Illinois is going to smoke them. Iowa
I've got
Maryland,
Iowa, Washington, Minnesota is 4, so that's 6 wins.
So you think they're going to win 6 games?
How many times have they lost in a row to Minnesota?
2.
It's got to be like 4 of the last 5.
Okay, it was only 2.
Yeah, they've lost back-to-back. They won one,
6.
and Minnesota got it back that, like, Jim Leonard, because that was the last game. So, they'll win 6. I think they can compete with Illinois. I think it's going to be a closer game against Indiana. Again, I think Illinois is a great team. My point is that I think the gap of wide receiver quality that Illinois has compared to Alabama, Wisconsin's DBs can cover them better and make it a more competitive game. Because the front 7 for Wisconsin is good.
But you need to score points to win football games.
Yes.
You need to beat good teams.
And Billy Edwards healthy, I think they score far more points. I think the offense looks far better than what it has. They've had a backup quarterback.
I do agree with that.
How certain are we Billy Edwards is good?
We're not. I don't think we have proof.
For all we know, he could be worse than Danny O'Neill.
We don't have Wisconsin proof, at least. And we'll find out. It sounds like he could go again this weekend after missing the last 2 games. So we'll see. But all in all,
because so far, in the brief glimpses I've gotten of the guys that the Badgers bring in here,
can we just keep in mind they were down by a field goal to Middle Tennessee State last week?
Yeah.
After the first quarter.